Hello, 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 hello again. It's Thursday, it's 10:30, and today is my StreamYard time. So welcome as you come in. Please introduce yourself and tell me where you're from. And are you here because you actually want to hear about my perception on traditions, rituals, routines for our children? So I've actually just come off a webinar that a very adorable man ran who lives in Jerusalem, and he was speaking exactly about this. And he has actually written a book, and this is the book that you can go and buy off Amazon, Who Loves You the Most of All. The man that wrote this book is by the name of PJ Palou. And I just thought that it was very apt that I talk about this book, because being able to not only read stories to children, which we already know is so powerful, it creates routines and rituals and traditions. But my main point about being able to, and why I created routines and rituals and traditions in our family when our kids were growing up, is because it creates memories. And I was shown that when my kids were small, that if I was able to create a home environment where I was at, where our children were able to articulate what they wanted, were able to ask for what they needed, were able to start to mold what was important to them, not necessarily me, although our values are instilled from the environment that we live in, that it's such an important area of our life and an important arena of our thinking that's important to build. So that's what I'm talking about today. Not so much the specific traditions and routines and rituals, but why you would want to do that and what do you have in place. And this is partly what I'm talking about in my new program, Holiday Breakthroughs Workshop, which is what I've done 2 webinars on. And maybe I will do the program, maybe I won't. But what we do in this program is we devise a plan for the following year before the year starts around what's important to you. What do you need as a person? What are your visions? Not just one vision, but what are your visions? So that then you can start to extrapolate that out. So that, and life happens. The plan will change. That is no doubt that the plan will change. But this Holiday Breakthrough Workshop is very much based on traditions, routines and rituals, and creating memories. Because what I find is, and I'm probably the worst person and probably the best person at the same time that can say this, is that running a business, running a family, and now being a grandmother and wanting to spend more time with grandchildren and supporting my kids and being able to spend more time with my husband in this stage of my life. And I think that's an important thing. What stage of life are you in? Are you just at the very beginning and your children are under 10, under 15? It's the very beginning of being able to create. What are the favorite books that you have, that you've read? And what are those books that your children are going to grow up to remember when they're 30, 40, 50, 60? And what are the questions that you are answering for your kids without them asking the questions, through your traditions and your routines and rituals? And so by developing a plan, something that you can actually see, and putting a theme to this plan is such a powerful tool to go into the new year. And that's exactly what we'll be doing. And mine's pretty much started to, well, it's formulated right through to the end of 2021. And of course it changes because life takes over. But my question to you is, what is it that you want to achieve in 2021, not only from a physical point of view, but from an emotional and spiritual point of view? And how are you going to put those into place? And my big tool is what are the traditions that you have, especially around things like Christmas and birthdays, Easter, special events that you have in your life. And then what are those routines and rituals that you put into place and you demonstrate to your family? And that's what I think that even this simple little book, which is so adorable, and actually he has another one which is not available, but this one is the one that you can get on Amazon. I'll put it up for you. Who Loves You the Most of All by PJ Palou. You can get it on Amazon. And then the other one that he has, well, he's sorting out an agreement with a famous author this one, Joshi, the Happiest Kid Alive. What books do, and I'm not just talking about books, I'm talking about routines and rituals. What is it that you use to create those routines and rituals, to create those memories, so that when your kids are 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 and 70, they have this foundation that they have always been able to make their decisions from. They've always been able to create their independence and their creativity and that connection to themselves. So I'm not just talking about the physical aspects of this is what you need to do for 2021. I'm talking about what are some of those things that you specifically need so that you can put into place the important things in your life. And then what are the themes that you want to be talking about in your social media? What are the themes that are going to be on your website? What is the branding that's on your website? So you build this whole program out based on what's important to you and what do you personally need? What do you personally need? So as I said, I have done 2 webinars already on this subject, and this is just a little tiny jammed in StreamYard. And the main crux of it and the thrust of what I'm talking about today is because I've just got off this webinar with PJ. And he was talking about the benefits of creating a home and environment. And that's exactly what I've been able to do for my children who are now in their late 30s and 40s. So if you are interested in having a concrete, hardcore, written piece of document that you can refer to and that will help you to stay on track, not only about the physical aspects and the steps to take, but also about what are the areas that you actually personally, emotionally and spiritually need, so that that can be written down and also can be monitored. And it can be. I've done this for years and years and years. So I haven't decided if I'm going to be running this program yet, but if you can go in there, or you can send me a message on Facebook. Same, my name is the same as what's in the website, and say, yes, I'm interested. And I would then call you to see if we're a good fit, because I'm not going to be having people in my program that we are not a good fit for in any of my programs, because my work is not for everybody. My work is for people that are coaches, they are mentors, they are people that have their own programs and want to be adding in some of my tools and processes into their whole big picture. So let me just give you a tip as to one of the things that I set up in my family, so that I do actually give you some value here and not just babble along and talk about, my programs. But I also wanted to promote PJ's book today because, as I said, I just got off this webinar with him. But one of the things that I used to do in our family was we had a session at most meal times. We would always have dinner early, and then we would always be asking our kids, well, what do you feel? What would you like to say? What happened on your day? What were you thankful for your day? What are some of the things that worked and didn't work in your day? And we used to call it an I feel like saying. And I actually learned this from Robert Kiyosaki, from doing business school and a program called Money and You in the 80s. And what we would all go around the table, and we would all say what we were thankful for, what are the things that didn't work, and we would find out things from our kids that we wouldn't have had the time to be able to flesh out, not necessarily at the dinner table, but flesh out by observing and by having conversations with them. And I think we started this with our children when our youngest daughter was about 3. So our oldest daughter was about 8. And so they were just starting to get to a stage of being able to have thoughts of their own and being able to articulate the very basic needs as human beings. If you were to do nothing else, this is a really, really good exercise. If you're in a stage of life, and I think it's important, as I said before, it's important to recognize what stage of life you are in. I'm in the grandmother stage of life. And so what traditions now am I handing over? What traditions now am I allowing and discussing and suggesting and allowing the space for my kids to be able to develop their own traditions and routines? And I can already see that there are certain things that they know that they want to be able to do, and do it in their own way, put their own spin on it, do their own types of Christmas Day routines and their own Christmas Day traditions. Same for, I'm sure that's going to happen in their birthdays. And actually, I was talking to a girlfriend today. Her kids have have children that are older than mine, and so their children are probably ranging from, I want to say 6 to about 12. And so my girlfriend's kids and their families are very much starting to get, organised. And so their families are starting to look around to see, how can we create these memories? Whereas I'm at a stage of, how can I now encourage and hand over and give distinctions, have conversations with, spend time with my kids to share, well, I did this, and, handing over actual physical, for Christmas, for instance, handing over physical stockings, so that, I made, and I don't have them here, but I made Christmas stockings for all of us on Christmas Day, and we've all had it for years. We have an advent calendar that the little bear shifts. And this may seem, what's this got to do with business? Why is she talking about this? Why, because people know me as empowering women in business and empowering people to be able to be independent. I believe that the routines that we have in our personal life actually are reflected in our business life. And so, for instance, do we reconcile our checkbooks, or do our business activity statement, which is what it's called in Australia, at the end of 3 months, and are we up to date? Do we follow up our customers for payment on the right time? And do we have a system in place? So really what I'm talking about is, how can you be setting up a system, and it looks like, and it is, traditions, routines, and rituals to create memories, so that everything is much smoother and free flowing. And that's why I'm running this program, is because so many people that I come across in my trainings, in my consults, in my self-education, is that they're distracted. And I think that's even going to happen more. And people are then wanting more connection, and they are wanting more ability to be able to tell their stories. So I think it's really imperative that we are able to flesh out what it is that we need, and then how is that going to look for the following year. And I always recommend start it before the year starts. So there's still somebody on here. If you want to say hello, that's fantastic. If you want to stay, I have a whole stack of messages coming through. But if you want to stay behind the scenes, that's also great. But I hope that you have gained something from this StreamYard. If nothing else, recognize what stage you are in your life right now, and identify that, and then be able to start to create or build on, solidify, make a foundation for what's important to you from what you need, and then be able to eliminate those tolerations that get in your way, and some things you're in control of and some things that you aren't, that will then allow you to be able to be the best that you can every day. And I think that that's what humans really, really want. They want to be the best that they can be every day. Things get in the way, life gets in the way, dramas get in the way, gossip gets in the way, TV gets in the way, social media gets in the way, negative friends get in the way. And so how can you start to extrapolate this out so that you are really aiming and able to do, when you go to sleep at night and go, that was a really good day. I had a really good day. And why did you have a good day? Because you are able to add more value to people from who you really are. So I hope that that is of value to you. And my next StreamYard is next Tuesday at 10:30. Then my next one is at Thursday on 10:30. So now I'm going into my online forum, which is called Global Women's Voice. And we are talking today about emotional intelligence. And it goes for an hour and a half. You can go to didowney.com/Global Women's Voice. And there you can register, which starts in 44 minutes or 24 minutes, however, 15 minutes actually. So I hope you have a great day wherever you are. Say hello in the chat, or tell me that you liked it. Tell me some things that you do to create your rituals in your life. Have a great day wherever you are, and maybe I'll see you on Global Women's Voice in 15 minutes. Otherwise, I'll see you on my StreamYard next week. Bye for now.